Hello, VC. Michael, Clash City Rocker, with a video this week on whether or not Discogs median price should reflect regional differences. And I guess it's more of a question because I don't really know the answer on whether Discogs should reflect regional differences in their median prices. And I know some of the details and I know some of the challenges that would present, but I'm just throwing it out there. And what got me thinking about this was I was lucky enough to acquire a collection, and I talked about it in a video I made a few weeks ago about the Beatles, but a very short version of that is this. So I accidentally purchased in 2015, maybe, a few of the 2014 mono remasters, which replicated the original UK mono records. And I had originally bought these just because I wanted some newer versions of the records I've been playing for 30, 40 plus years. And at the time, I didn't really think of it as being special because I had the Beatle box set, granted on CD, but I hadn't really thought about buying all these in mono. But I did eventually, and it was a collection I finished last year when I picked up Please Please Me. So I have the mono box, I just don't have the box. But that got me thinking that what I would really, really, really like to have is the original UK mono releases from the year that they were released. But as I have stated in the past, I live in the States. And although I used to go to England fairly regularly, I haven't been back in about 20 years, maybe a little bit less, but for a fairly long time. And even then, when I was traveling, I was always buying CDs. Now, what happened though is I stumbled upon a collection of 70s era stereo Parlophone records. I've shown these in the past. I made a video on why they sound kind of funky, at least to my ears, in terms of vocal drop off. But while I was investigating that, I went to my local record store, which is my preferred spot for getting records, and just randomly they had this copy. And it is a UK 66 Parlophone copy of Revolver, and the matrix number for this one is XEX 605-2 and XEX 606-2. And I acquired this one by trading, basically. I traded a bunch of records, and they had this relatively cheap. So the median price for this on Discogs right now is $60. Or actually, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. This one is $80. $80 is the median price for this, which, since that sounds moderately correct, but I have never seen a 66 mono Revolver in any record store in 20 plus years of buying records in the States, other than the one time I stumbled on this. And I've been slowly just kind of randomly picking them up. So what I also picked up at that same local record store around the holidays, I stumbled in, and the person behind the counter was reviewing these. They had just come into the shop, and he was putting these out for sale, and I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, how much? What do you want for them? And again, I don't usually talk about cost or money because that's not why I'm buying these records. They're not an investment. I'm buying them because I love the music and I want the records. A little bit of a kind of archivist in a sense, a little bit of a historical aspect of it. And they named a price, and I didn't think twice about it, and I had the money and I purchased it. So I want to go into detail. I want to compare what Discogs says the median price is of these original UK mono records with what I paid for them. And again, I don't normally talk about cost of things. I recognize that it's a privilege that I'm able to do this, that I'm able to acquire these records. But I just noticed a vast discrepancy between what's available in the United States and what is listed on Discogs as being the average or median price for that. And I defy you, find one of these records listed in the States in the condition VG Plus for the prices that they have listed on Discogs. But before I get into this in detail, I do want to thank the people who have been watching my videos. I'm incredibly grateful. I appreciate the people who have subscribed, the people who have liked, and most importantly, the people who have commented. The reason I'm doing these videos is to engender conversation with other music lovers, members of the VC, to reach out to the community. So that's why I'm doing these videos, and that's why I want to talk to you about Discogs median prices and whether or not it should reflect regional differences. Okay, don't know how many of these I'm going to go through in the time that I have, but one of the more recent ones that I picked up, and I'm incredibly happy to have a copy of it, is this one. 1963, Please Please Me. This cover is pristine. There is so much gloss on this. You could take it out of the shrink. I mean, you can see the reflection. It's just stunning. The vinyl is unbelievably perfect. I was blown away when I found it. Now, a word on how I acquired these records. 3 of them I acquired in my local record store, which is my ideal way of doing it. 3 of these I acquired through a UK record store, very small UK record store, actually in Scotland, where I worked directly with the owner of the store. And then 4 of these I bought on Discogs. So 3 different venues, 3 different contexts acquiring these records. Now, I paid, and again, I don't usually talk about price, but he gave me a little bit of a deal, and you may be laughing that I overpaid on this, but basically paid 125 pounds for this, plus 15 pounds for shipping, which comes out to about $185, $188. Now, this copy is XEX 421-1N. And what was interesting, when I went to Discogs, and yes, I'm a paper person because I'm of that age, and I looked at the median. The median for this they have as 21.33. And what's interesting, there were no comparisons. And Discogs, in the last 2 years, going all the way back to 2023, over 2 years now actually, there's only been 7 of these that have been sold. Because, and even the person I bought this from had it listed wrong, this is a very special version of this record, and it has to do with the label. I guess there's a zillion different label variations, but they have this on Discogs listed for $21.33 as the median. And I defy you to find a VG Plus copy of this in the States for $21.33. And that's why my question is, should Discogs reflect median prices based on geography? Now, I understand the challenges that can be, but if I'm presenting data, demographic data, I break it down by specific spaces and places and persons, and I don't understand why Discogs can't do that as well. For example, even this one where there were 7 sales, they list what the financial money was, whether it was in pounds or Australian dollars or Canadian dollars or US dollars. Why can't they separate those or have it as a pull down? I don't know. It's just a question. The next one I picked up, which was the last one, and this one's not in great shape, or it's in good shape. It's not like that one I just showed you. Vinyl's a VG. Sleeve is a little bit dodgy because of this. The back has some sort of discoloring that had happened on it. Nonetheless, the Discogs has this listed for $19.33. The average range for records in this VG G Plus range is about $30, but there has been no US sales at all. And there are over, what, 30 sales that have happened within the last 30, well, I know they list the last 30. And there are no US comparables, but yet they have this listed on Discogs for $19.33. So today or tomorrow, I want you to go into your local record store and I want you to buy this record, UK Mono First Press, for $19.33. Okay, next one up, Hard Day's Night. This one I ordered. My copy is VG. Discogs says that it should be $36.95. I paid a little bit more than that for mine. The range of ones in the VG, according to Discogs, are about 25 to 65. Here there are 3 US sales, but what's interesting about it, the US sales are all kind of in the ballpark. So this one, at least, is not as whacked as the previous 2 records. Okay, moving on. Beatles for sale. This appears to be the most common, the most easily purchased in the of all those Beatles models. One, I guess people don't want this. You can find this in the $16 to $40 range. This copy is a VG Plus, and there were 2 US sales, and the closest to this in the US was $80. And again, Discogs has this for $34.81. Now, I bought this in my local record store. I didn't pay $80, but I paid about $20 less than that. So, again, I want you to go into your local record store tomorrow and I want you to buy this pristine copy of the Beatles for sale for $34.81. All right, next on the list, we have Help. Again, another absolutely pristine copy of this. Perfect, beautiful white Help cover. Emitech sleeve, Parlophone. This one, my version is 549-2 and 55-2. I haven't been given the mothers and the stampers, but that Please Me that I had was first mother. Hard Day's Night was the third. With the Beatles was the third. Beatles for Sale was the first. This Help one is the fourth. Blah, blah, blah. So this one, the closest, there's been 1 US sale for a VG Plus, and it was $120. Again, Discogs says you can find this for $43. So tomorrow, I want you to go to your local record store. I want you to ask for this UK 65 mono and pay $43 for it. Next up, Rubber Soul. This one, according to Discogs, the median is $46.67, so we're creeping up there. This one, my copy is kind of VG, more VG plus, but I say it's that. There was 1 US sale for $65, and guess who bought that record? You're looking at him, this guy. So, not this boy, that's the Beatles song. Actually, a really beautiful copy for this, so $65. But Discogs had it at $46.67. We already talked about Revolver. This one they have listed for $80. This one I feel a little bit more confident that you'll be able to find. Now, what's interesting, again, from Discogs was there were no US sales. Of the last 30 sales, which is what they compute their median, there were no US sales for this record. So again, tomorrow, go down to your local, and I want you to buy a 66. And again, my matrix number for this one is 605-2. All right, moving on. Sgt. Pepper. This is one of the more coveted ones because there's a whole swath of Beatle fans that only believe the Beatles existed from 67 on. This is absolutely beautiful. I'll show you. This one has the wide spine, it's called. The things I learned while doing, searching for these. Oh, sorry. That's why it has the cutout. And it did at one point. I don't know what I did with it. Have the psychedelic sleeve. So this one, according to Discogs, is $125.83. Now that's a little bit more reasonable because the US, there's been 4 US sales, including mine, and I paid exactly that $125 for what the median is. So this one, it does reflect truly what you can pay for it in the States. So very unusual. I don't know why that is. And then the last one is this one. This one is an absolutely stunning copy of this. This is, what do they call it? The flip top. It has poster. It has, there's good old Ringo. And this one is listed on Discogs for $133. 2 US sales, but not one even close to what I paid or the condition of mine. So I don't know. It's just something I've been thinking about. Again, I'm not buying these because of the cost or the investment aspect of it. I love the music. The Beatles are one of my favorite bands. But I'm just wondering, would it be possible for Discogs to reflect regional differences? Obviously, if I was in the UK, it would be a little bit easier to find these 60 mono Parlophone records than it is here in the States. And yes, I know there's regional differences in the United States as well. In the last year, I've been to New York, Montana, my home state, and Austin to the Austin Record Convention. By the way, Austin Record Convention, one 60s Parlophone mono record. They had a Sgt. Pepper that I didn't even look at. They had it for $350. So there you go. In fact, when I was talking to the merchants at the Austin Record Fair, they were basically laughing at me and acting like I was asking for the most preposterous thing imaginable. Even the people with English accents thought I was insane. Like, why are you even bother looking for these? You're not going to find them. So there you go. So Michael, Clash City Rocker, a different kind of video this week. Just kind of wondering what people think. Should Discogs median reflect regional differences? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Cheers.